How are you supposed to go to work every day knowing that there are politicians and the elites of the world out there raping children? How are you supposed to just read a headline and see, like, hey, this company is spilling a bit of oil in the Gulf or in this river and polluting this community? This high ranking politician is kind of doing some weird shit, but, just go to work. Like, it's fine, find a way to deal with it. It's obviously not something that I think we were ever wired to consume. I think it's pretty strange to wake up every day and read headlines of how absurd or how atrocious people are, and then you're just like, well, your boss is like, hey, just get that thing on my desk by 9 anyways, right? Like, it's just the world we live in. It's fucked up. And I don't think that the world is getting worse per se. I think in a lot of ways it's actually getting better. But we're just more painfully aware of these atrocities. And, Will Smith, I know he has a quote, the world isn't getting more racist, it's just getting filmed. Or racism isn't getting worse, it's just getting filmed. And that's true. With all these ridiculous things, we were never meant to know about it in a way, but it doesn't change the fact that that is the world that we live in. And it obviously makes it quite difficult to wake up every day and be like, how the fuck am I supposed to just go about my day knowing that there's people out there doing stuff like this? No less the people that are in power, right? The people that we're supposed to look up to and not respect, but like, you know what I mean? Our leaders. Well, here's my approach on how to deal with this kind of thing, because it's very easy to develop a nihilistic perspective that I have no power, that I can't do anything to make these people stop doing these things. And in a way, that's true. I mean, like, if you're just some normal person like me, yeah, you can't really stop a billionaire from, having a little tropical vacation, if you know what I mean. But the one thing that you're going to have over these people, one thing that they can never take away from you, is your dignity. And what I mean by that is, like, think about hopefully the moral weight of these people's atrocities weighing on them, and thinking about, like, damn, should I be doing this? Like, think about the people that commit these ridiculous things in the headlines, right? Like, how are they living with themselves every day, knowing that that's weighing on their conscience, right? You and I don't have to worry about that, right? You don't have to worry about, like, damn, am I making the world an awful place? Am I doing things that are absurd? And, like, you don't have to worry about a politician taking that away from you, because they cannot make you be a bad person or a good person. There's something to be said about power and money and feeling like they've got just your balls in a vice, right? Like, you can't do anything to stop them. But they will never be able to stop you from being a good person and waking up every day and knowing that you're doing your best to be a good person. And look, I know some people are going to say, like, oh, yeah, fuck it. Who cares, right? Like, I've heard that said a million times. I'm sure some people will say that this is just basically Jesus talk, because, like, I think that's kind of a teaching of the Bible of, oh, just be a good person and that's all that really matters. Dog, I'm not religious, okay? Like, that's not... I'm arriving at this thought on my own accord. And the one thing that you will always be able to control no matter what in your life is how you present yourself in the world. Because the one thing that politicians and powerful people, or whoever we're discussing here, the one thing they can't take away from you is your dignity. They can take away your money, they can freeze your assets, they can try to take away your rights, but they cannot take away your ability to try to be a good person. And if you live your life in a manner where, despite the screw-ups that you may have done, because we've all screwed up. I mean, I'm not so naive to think that all normal people are good and all rich people are bad. That's a ridiculous take. Well, we've all screwed up. We know, hopefully, that we can turn our lives around and we can be like, you know what? This is messed up. This is not right. I need to change my path. These people that I'm talking about do not have the self-awareness for that. And I think in a lot of ways they're kind of soulless and devoid of dignity. But we can always make the choice to still preserve dignity. And that's not something that anyone can ever take away from you. I think there's a bit of poetic beauty in this male fantasy that a lot of men seem to have nowadays about having like a 10 out of 10 bleed out spot, which basically just means I want to die for a good cause and just, bleed out on a mountain and know that at least while maybe I didn't defeat evil, I did my best and I died for something good. And I think a lot of people want that. Not that we all want to die, but that we all want to know that at the end of our life that we tried to do the right thing. Because again, I'm not religious, but I do think that there's something to be said about the concept of hell and how if you make the choice to do wrong things your entire life and you never recognize that you've screwed up and you just keep doing it and keep doing it like these rich and powerful people, then I'm sorry, but I think that you have lost your soul. Whereas if you recognize that you've done wrong, as we all have, and I'm not going to use the word repent because again, I'm not religious, but that you make the choice to turn your life around and to have dignity, I think that's probably one of the most important things you could possibly have, dude. To know that you are trying to be a good person every day and that you're not going to be like the trafficking billionaires, the child rapist billionaires that we all hear about in the news. You're not going to be like that. Again, I'm not expecting that this is just going to magically make your life better and that if you're in poverty, this will just go away and it'll make it easier to accept the fact that Elon Musk is going to be a trillionaire. There's certain screwed up things and in many ways the world is not going to be up to your control. But to cope with it and to go through life a little bit easier, I think just consider preserving your dignity and knowing that you are still within the control of your life to try to pursue a morally upstanding life. That, God forbid, you're not going to go out there and start scamming a whole town of people because you want to make billions of dollars. I wouldn't want my legacy to be that. I hope that you wouldn't want your legacy to be that. And while we can't necessarily stop the ultra rich and powerful from doing the things that they do, at least we can preserve our dignity, because I think that's ultimately what matters the most here. But that's all I had to say. So go be a good person. I'm gonna go, I don't know, play some Minecraft. I'll see you later.